Here's the story of my lost and found engagement ring. I found it. There it is, everyone. So, a couple days before Christmas, I left my rings over here in this pile of junk, which is always here on the counter. And then I went to wear them the next day or two and couldn't find my engagement ring. I found my wedding band, but the two of them I always take off and put back on together. So it was on the counter here, and I couldn't find it. And we looked everywhere. Mike looked, Mom came over and looked. We looked in the drain. There's Jack on the chair. That's another part of the story. We took the toe kick off. There used to be the space down there. We looked in the laundry because I was folding laundry on the counter here. So we thought Jack must have eaten it, because see what he's doing right now with the chair? This is a bad habit he's got that we let him do, is brings the chairs over from the table and plays with the stuff on the counter like he's doing right now. So he was over here in this corner. Oh, Jack, you made a mess. He was playing with the stuff in the corner while I was ironing over there by the pictures. So we thought he ate it, and we were just waiting for it to go through. We called the doctors. They didn't want to do an x-ray right away. And so we were checking dirty diapers. I was checking the garbage. I took apart the drain. We were looking all over the house, in the car, everywhere. But I knew it was in the house. And we went through these baskets full of mail many times. So anyway, a day or two passed. I went to my hairdresser, told her the story, and she says, "You have to pray to St. Anthony." And I was like, St. Anthony? I knew St. Anthony was the saint of lost things, because Ralph across the street had me paint a statue for him that he had out in the garden, and it got all weathered. I repainted it for him a couple of years ago, and so that's how I knew who St. Anthony was, because Ralph told me. And the statue came out beautiful, and they said it was actually too beautiful that they didn't want to put it outside, and it's in their house now. So anyway, Lori said, pray to St. Anthony, and she said there's some kind of saying, and there's something you have to do with a cup. So she couldn't remember it. She was asking everyone while I was on my way out, and this woman, Teresa, who works in the front selling stuff by the front register, said, "Oh yes, I know exactly who you need. You need St. Anthony." So she goes through her purse. She had a Ziploc bag full of all these little prayer cards that were like old and tattered. So she gave me this one, St. Anthony. And there, let me see, how am I going to get a picture? There's a prayer on the back of it. Oops, can you see it? There it is. And she said, what you have to do is take a glass out of the cupboard and turn it upside down and do all this stuff, and then say the prayer. Don't think about the ring anymore, and it'll show up. So I came home and I told Mike all this, and he thought I was crazy, but I did it anyway. So I went over here, I opened the cabinet, and I took out a glass. You have to put it on the counter, you turn it upside down, and turn it upside down again, and leave it there. But for the sake of this purpose, since Jack's right here, we'll put it back. Then I stood right here where Jack is, and I was facing the cup, facing the counter this way, and I was starting to recite the prayer in my head. And Mike was standing over there by his white bag on the other side of the island, and he says, "I can't hear you." I'm like, "I gotta say it out loud?" And he said, "Yes." So I started saying it out loud, and I finished it, and I said, "Amen," and at the same time I said amen, he says, "I found the ring." And I was like, haha, very funny. He's like, no, I'm serious. While he was standing here and I was doing my thing over here, he decided to thumb through his papers here, and he found it right here in this envelope. Isn't that amazing? Now, I don't know if this is all just coincidence, or maybe if I hadn't been taking a few minutes over there, he wasn't here, you know, killing time, thumbing through envelopes. But it was incredible. We looked at each other and we were like, oh my God, what just happened? It was crazy. It really felt surreal. So anyway, the woman Teresa that gave me this card is, I called the hairdresser right away, and I, wanted to talk to her, but she had already left, so she was gonna, the receptionist heard the story, and she's like, oh my God, you found the ring, I'm going to see her tonight. So she was going to call her tonight, and she gave her my number, and I'm going to talk to Teresa later. And I'm going to return this card to her, but I scanned it first, so I'll have a copy of it in case we lose anything else. And then meanwhile, Jack was at Mike's parents' house, and we had been missing a couple of necklaces that we kind of figured Ethan ran off with them, and we didn't think anything of it. And then Jack came home, and Mike came home with the necklaces. So St. Anthony's working overtime in our house this last couple 24 hours. Amazing. Right, Jack? Amazing. I'm a believer now. Thank you, St. Anthony, for finding my ring. It will never be on the kitchen counter again. Right, Jack? And you will never be on that chair again, right? We learned a couple lessons here. Like, Jack, get off the chair. Okay, thanks for listening to my story.